Good morning, everyone. Right. So yesterday we have discussed about the testing and debugging. Right. Okay. So what do you mean by testing? Anyone? Where are you? What do you mean by testing? What do you mean by testing? What do you mean by debugging? So after the program definition, program analysis or problem analysis, program design. So after that algorithm and then flowchart. So I discussed about the role of compiler. Okay, so after that, so testing and debugging, right? We have discussed, right? So what do you mean by testing? What do you mean by debugging? Okay, so ಇಲ್ಲಿ ತನಕ ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ? So up to testing ಮತ್ತು debugging ನಿಮಗೆ test ಗೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. So ನಾಳೆ weekend test ಗೆ. Okay, so I have given already the question paper, right? So from beginning, the problem solving technique, so problem definition, analysis, problem coding, including algorithm, importance of algorithm, so next features, and then flowchart importance, and then I was not given any to write algorithm or flowchart, but the theoretical parts, so whatever I have taught to you, so I have given the question on that. Okay, so what do you mean by testing and debugging? Come on. So we are done with the coding also, right? So the step number 4 is coding. So after that, so testing and debugging. So I'm asking, so what do you mean by testing and coding? So next we will go further. Testing and debugging. Hey, ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ವಾ testing and debugging ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಅಂತ? What do you mean by testing? What do you mean by debugging?
Just picking out errors.
What do you mean by testing? Execution of the program, running the program is known
Running the program.
is called as testing, and then so identifying and rectifying the error is known as debugging. Okay, right? Finding or identifying, rectifying or sorting out the mistakes written by the user. The codes can be rectified, so the mistakes can be identified and then rectified. So that process is known as debugging, right? Okay, so next, so you write the some note here. So importance of flowchart. Importance of flowchart. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ flowchart symbol ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಗೆ. flowchart symbol ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? flowchart symbol, okay, oval shape, start and then stop. Okay, so parallelogram indicates input and then output. Rectangle indicates that process. Okay, so there is a rhombus indicates that decision making. Okay, hexagon is looping. Circle, connector. Arrow keys, up arrow key, down arrow key, left arrow key, right arrow key. Okay, so flow direction. Okay, right? So look at the flow charts. So symbols. Importance of flow chart. Okay, so the importance of flow chart is, first one is for communication, right? Next is effective analysis. ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಇದನ್ನ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂತ ಬರ್ಕೊಂಡಿರಿ. Next, proper documentation. Next, number 4, effective coding. Next, number 5, proper debugging. Next, number 6, efficient programming maintenance. Effective program maintenance. Okay, so these are the importance of the flowchart it got. Okay, so it is very easy to communicate. Okay, and very easy to convert the flowchart into a program code. Next, so it is an effective analysis. So we can make analysis by seeing the diagram itself. So by seeing the symbol itself, so we can easily analyze the program and then program code, right? And then so it's a proper documentation. We can maintain the proper documentation using so the flowchart. So effective coding also. So as I told, so it's very easy to write the flowchart and convert them into a coding, nothing but C++ program, right? Nothing but high-level language. Next, so proper debugging. So we can rectify the errors very easily. So if I have written a wrong diagram, so I can easily recognize that, and then I can easily rewrite that. Okay, so proper debugging. Next, efficient program maintenance. So we can keep it as a documentation, and then we can maintain it as a documentation of any effective program. Okay, so this is the importance of flowchart. So what we got, right? And then so look at the symbols, and then so follow. So all the symbols we have converted into a algorithm into a flowchart. So what we have done? So around 23, right? 23 algorithms have given to you, and then you are all converted that into a flowchart. I think, alva. So 23 algorithm na ನೀವು convert ಮಾಡಿದೀರಾ, flowchart ಆಗಿ convert ಮಾಡಿದೀರಾ? 23 or what? How many? How many algorithm you are converted
Yes,
into
sir. 23.
flowchart?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Okay, so ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ನಾನು ಇವತ್ತು ಮಾಡಿಸ್ತೇನೆ ಅದನ್ನ, ಆಯ್ತಾ? So design an algorithm to find so whether the given number is prime or not ಅಂತ. Okay, ಅಲ್ವಾ? So ಅದನ್ನ ನಾನು ಇವತ್ತು ಮಾಡಿಸ್ತೇನೆ. Okay, so you just write down this. Okay, so importance of the flowchart. So in communication, effective analysis, proper documentation, next effective coding, next proper debugging, and efficient program maintenance. Okay, nothing but maintenance, nothing but documentation, and also so upgradation in the future, right? Okay, please do write down this. Okay, importance of flowchart. Efficient program maintenance. Efficient program maintenance. Efficient program maintenance. Okay, finished? Right, so design an algorithm to find whether the given number is prime or not. Okay, so algorithm ಬರಿತೀನಿ, flowchart ಬರಿತೀರಲ್ಲ? Algorithm ನಾನು ಮಾಡಿಸ್ತೀನಿ, flowchart ಬರಿತೀರಾ? ನೀವೇ ಬರಿತೀರಾ? Yes or no? Will you write flowchart yourself? Shall I erase this? Shall I erase this? ಆಯ್ತಾ ಇದು?
Yes, sir.
ಇದಾಗಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ? Yes. Next.
Yes,
Step.
sir.
So step number 1. So design an algorithm to find whether the given number is prime or not. Okay. Step number 1. Start. So as you know, so step number 1 is start. Next, step number 2. Input. Input. How many numbers we need to take? Only one number we need. Okay, and we need to check whether it is prime or not. Okay, so input, that should be an integer number. You should keep it in mind. Okay, so let it be n. I will consider that as n. Input n. Okay. Next. Step number 3. Right. Here you can write divide. Okay, otherwise you can write the symbol. Divide n with n1 to 2. Okay, so step number 4. If n is divisible by any value, so n minus 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, not a prime. It's not a prime number. Okay, so when it was divided by 2, it's not a prime number, right? Okay, so when it is divisible by 1 and itself, then only will be considered as a prime number. Okay, the rule of prime number is the number which is divisible by 1 and itself. Okay, so here, so n minus 1 to 2. Okay, so you can divide this by any value by 2. It's a, we'll get a even number, right? So which are the prime number? You check it once. Yada the prime number nodi, check ಮಾಡಿ. Okay, so step number 5. So step number 5 is, so in else, if it is not divisible by 2, then it is a prime number. Next, step number 6 is stop. Stop. Okay, so let us take an example. Okay, so you see 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13. Okay, these are all the number which are divisible by 1 and itself. Okay. Okay, so will you write flowchart for this? It's algorithm. So ಈ algorithm ಗೆ flowchart ನೀವೇ ಬರೀತೀರಾ? ಬರೀತೀರಾ? Yes or no? ಹೇಳಿ. ನೀವೇ ಬರೀತೀರಾ algorithm ನ? ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಬರ್ದಿದ್ದೀವಿ. Okay, flowchart ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? Flowchart ಬರೀತೀರಾ? Convert ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? The number which is divisible by 1 and itself. Okay, that's the rule. Okay, so this is the flowchart. Okay, so 1 to 2. So it's not a prime. So n minus 1 to 2. It's not a prime. Else it will be in all the other cases it will be prime. Okay, the number which is divisible by 1 and itself. ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ flowchart ಬರೀತೀರಾ? Yes or no? ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನೀವು ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರೋ ನನಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ. flowchart ಬರೀತೀರಾ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ? Right, question ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ, blank ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ, ನೆನಪಿದ್ಯಾ? Design an algorithm to find whether the number is prime or not. Okay, please write down this algorithm and write yourself the flowchart for this. ಎರಡು ಇರಬೇಕು, algorithm ಇರಬೇಕು, flowchart ಕೂಡ ಇರಬೇಕು. Finished? ಆಯ್ತಾ? Finished? ಆಯ್ತಾ ಇದು? So I'll close once, I'll get in again. Is that clear now? ಈಗ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಇದೆಯಾ? Okay. Next. Next, we will go with the program documentation and then maintenance. Okay, so step number 6 and then 7. Right. So step number 6 is program documentation. Okay. So the program documentation includes defining meaningful. Okay, so first of all, write the definition. Okay, then we will go with the documentation is a reference material. A reference material which explains and maintenance of the program or application for which has been written. It could be a written form or printed document. Written form or printed document. Right? Okay, so program documentation is a reference material. Okay, it's a reference material which explains the maintenance of the program or application for which has been written. Right? Okay, so after writing all the documents, okay, what we will do? We will save. ಹೌದಾ ನಾವು ಒಂದು ಲೆಟರ್ ಟೈಪ್ ವರ್ಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನ ಸೇವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ so that saving itself is called documentation is a reference okay so for the future use okay document ಯಾಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಗೆ ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ತಿರ್ಗಾ ಮಾಡೋದನ್ನ ತಪ್ಪಿಸೋದ್ರ ಬದಲು ಸೊ ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನ ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಸೊ ತಿರ್ಗಾ ಆ ಕೆಲಸನ ಮತ್ತೆ ಮಾಡೋದು ತಪ್ಪುತ್ತೆ ಓಕೆ ಪದೇ ಪದೇ ಮಾಡೋದು ತಪ್ಪುತ್ತೆ ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಒಂದು ರೆಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ನ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀವಿ is that clear right so documentation is a reference material which explains the maintenance of the program or an application for which has been written so ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ for the purpose of programming coding ಬರೆಯೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ okay so it could be a written form or a printed document so ಅದು ನಾವು ಕೈಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೆಯೋದಿರಬಹುದು ಅದನ್ನ written ಅಂತ ಕರೀತೀವಿ okay otherwise so we can take the print out printer ನಲ್ಲಿ print out ತಗೋಬಹುದು hard copy ಅಂತ ಕರೀಬಹುದು ಹೌದಾ
yes
right okay so we can do so either written format of documentation otherwise so printed document with the help of the printer that's it okay so this is the program documentation okay so the internal documentation includes okay so literally so there are two types of documentation one do internal documentation anta barutte innondu external documentation anta barutte so we'll look at this okay so is that clear idu artha aita documentation andre artha aita so it's a reference material so saving purpose for the future use that's it okay so saving any documentation either written or so it may be a printout okay next idaitala alisboda shall I erase this alisla
yes sir
right okay so program documentation can be classified into internal documentation and then external documentation okay so we'll write this down So it will be called internal documentation and external documentation. So ille barkodtane. So hige divide ಮಾಡಿ ಬರ್ಕೊಂಬಿಡಿ. Okay, so internal documentation. So what are all the internal documentation requires? Okay, so first one, defining meaningful variable name. Next, including remarks or comments in the program code. Next, adding remarks on every module. Indicating its purpose. Next is presenting program code clearly by inserting punctuators ಅಂತ ಬಳಸೋಣ. punctuators ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ space, comma, full stop, like that. Okay, so internal documentation includes defining meaningful variable names. Okay, so now documentation ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ನಾವು algorithm ಬರೆಯುವಾಗ ಮತ್ತೆ ಫ್ಲೋ ಚಾರ್ಟ್ ಬರೆಯುವಾಗ ನಮಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಬೇಕು ಯಾವುದು ಬೇಕು ವೇರಿಯಬಲ್ ನೇಮ್ ಅಷ್ಟು ಮಾತ್ರ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಓಕೆನಾ? Okay, so ಈಗ write an algorithm to find so area of triangle. So given 3 sides ಅಂತ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. Okay, given 3 sides ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಮೇಲೆ ನಾವು 3 sides ಮಾತ್ರ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ, S1 S2 S3 ಅಂತ. ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದ್ರೆ A B C side. Okay, so ಇಲ್ಲ P Q R side ಅಂತ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. Okay, right? So ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗಿ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ಲೆಸ್ ಆಗಿ ನಾವು ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋಂಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ it will be irrelevant. Okay, so we should have some meaningful and so perfect variable names. Okay, so ನಾವು length of the square ಇರಬಹುದು, ಆಮೇಲೆ so ಮತ್ತೆ ಏರಿಯಾ ಆಫ್ ಸರ್ಕಲ್ ಗೆ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋದು ರೇಡಿಯಸ್ ಇರಬಹುದು. ಓಕೆ, ನಮಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಬೇಕು ವೇರಿಯೇಬಲ್ಸ್, ಯಾವುದು ಬೇಕು ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ಫುಲ್ ಆಗಿ ನಾವು ವೇರಿಯೇಬಲ್ಸ್ ನ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ. ಹೌದಾ? ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, ಸಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೂ ನಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ತಗೊಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಸಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೂ ನಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಟೂ ವೇರಿಯೇಬಲ್ಸ್ ವಿ ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಟೇಕ್. ಬಿಗ್ಗೆಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೂ ನಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ, ಓನ್ಲಿ ವಿ ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಟೇಕ್ ಟೂ ವೇರಿಯೇಬಲ್ಸ್, ತ್ರೀ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿಲ್ಲ. ತ್ರೀ ವೇರಿಯೇಬಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ತ್ರೀ ವೇರಿಯೇಬಲ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರಿ. ಓಕೆನಾ? ಆಮೇಲೆ ಸ್ವಾಪಿಂಗ್ ಕಂಟೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೂ ವೇರಿಯೇಬಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ, ನೆನಪಿದ್ಯಾ? ಸ್ವಾಪಿಂಗ್ ದ ಕಂಟೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೂ ವೇರಿಯೇಬಲ್ಸ್, ನೆನಪಿದ್ಯಾ? ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ಯೂಸಿಂಗ್ ಟೂ ವೇರಿಯೇಬಲ್ಸ್, ಯೂಸಿಂಗ್ ತ್ರೀ ವೇರಿಯೇಬಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ವಿ. ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಯೂಸಿಂಗ್ ಟೂ ವೇರಿಯೇಬಲ್ಸ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ವಿ, ಸೊ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ವಿ ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಟೇಕ್ ಟೂ ವೇರಿಯೇಬಲ್ಸ್. ಸೊ where we need to take three variables, so accordingly whenever we need that, okay, so you should take meaningful and reasonable variable names. Okay, and then so it includes the remarks and comments in the program code. So what is our main intention? What we need to calculate? Circumference of circle, area of circle, so volume of the sphere, so volume of the hemisphere. So we must have a clear picture of what we are going to do. So it is the remarks which helps in identifying which is the program you are doing, right? So whether you are doing a area of triangle or area of circle or area of square or something else, biggest of two numbers, biggest of three numbers. So next algorithm to find the simple interest, compound interest, like that. Okay, so you can make a comment on that. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಬೇಕಲ್ಲ, ನಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ ನಾವು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ ಅಂತ. ಓಕೆ, ಬಟ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಸೊ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ ಎ ರಿಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಎ ಕಾಮೆಂಟ್. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಎ ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟೇಶನ್. ಓಕೆ, ಇಸ್ ದಟ್ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್? ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಸೊ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆನೆ ನಾವು ಇದೀವಿ, ಹೌದಾ? ರೈಟ್ ಅನ್ ಆಲ್ಗಾರಿಥಮ್. What is that? Okay, so this is called remarks or a comment. Here, next, adding remarks every will indicate its purpose, what the program code will performs, right? Addition of two numbers, subtraction of two numbers, Okay, what that particular program code it will perform. So write the, so adding the remarks on every module indicating its purpose. Okay na, ಏನು ಪರ್ಪಸ್ ಸರ್ವ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಸೊ ಆ ಪರ್ಪಸ್ ನ ನೀವು ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ಸ್ an internal documentation, right? Next, present program code clearly by inserting punctuators. Okay, comma ಇರೋ ಕಡೆ comma ಬರಿಬೇಕು, full stop ಇರೋ ಕಡೆ full stop ಬರಿಬೇಕು. Okay, that is what we follow in grammar. Okay, English grammar, just so it follow that. Presenting a program code by inserting punctuators. These are all the symbols we will call it as punctuators. Okay, reference grammatically in English na ಏನು ಬರೀತೀವಿ, so ಅದನ್ನ ನೀವು ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅಗೇನ್ documentation. Okay, so full stop ಎಲ್ಲ ಬರೀತಾ, is that clear? Somewhere we need to make exclamatory sign also. Exclamatory sign also indicates that punctuators. Next ಬರುತ್ತೆ exclamatory sign ಬರೆಯೋದನ್ನ ನಾನು ತೋರಿಸ್ತೇನೆ. Is that clear? These are all internal documents.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Right? Okay, please write down. So, not clear. Okay, exit ಆಗಿ ತಿರ್ಗಾ ಮತ್ತೆ ಈಗ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಇದೆಯಾ? Is it clear now?
Yes.
Okay, so idaita idu internal documentation. So next is external documentation. Okay, so external documentation, it includes user manual, next is administrator manual, and developer manual. Okay. Okay, so you take any any products. Okay, so newly bought products. So there is some book, small book or some small sheets was given with the warranty card. So that is the user manual, right? How to operate this device. That is called user manual, right? And then administrator manual, nothing but, so if you went for any company, okay, so the management will give you the administrator manual. Okay, so how you need to take the employees to your obedience, loyalty, and then how to do work, and how to do tasks, and then how to refer a task to the employees. That is administrator manual. And then developer manual, nothing but, so developer manual is nothing but, so algorithm and flowchart, so what we have given, right? So how to develop the codings. Okay, nimge so program nivena software engineers agre, so developer manuals anta nimge kodtare. Okay, so ಒಂದೊಂದು ಟೀಮ್ ಗೆ ನೀವು ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಅಥವಾ ಒಬ್ಬರೇ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಕೊಡಬಹುದು. ಓಕೆ, ಡೆವಲಪರ್ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ಯುಯಲ್ ಅಂತ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದನ್ನ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ನೀವು ಕೋಡ್ ಅನ್ನ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಡಿಬಗ್ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ರನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಆಗ ರನ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಎರರ್, ಲಾಜಿಕಲ್ ಎರರ್, ಸಿಮ್ಯಾಂಟಿಕ್ ಎರರ್, ಸಿಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಎರರ್ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಬಂತು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಯು ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಗೋ ವಿತ್ ದ ಅಡ್ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟ್ರೇಟರ್ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ಯುಯಲ್. ಓಕೆ, ರೈಟ್? ಅಡ್ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟ್ರೇಟರ್ ಯಾರು ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ಟೀಮ್ ಹೆಡ್ ಯಾರು ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವರನ್ನ ಕೇಳಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಅದನ್ನ ರಿಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟರ್ನಲ್ ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟೇಶನ್. ಓಕೆನಾ? ಆಮೇಲೆ ನೀವು ರನ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಏನೇನೆಲ್ಲ ಎರರ್ಸ್ ಬಂತು ಅದನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ನೀವು ಬರ್ದಿಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟೇಶನ್. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಸೊ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ನಾವು ಕೋಡಿಂಗ್, ಸೊ ವಿ ಆರ್ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಕೋಡಿಂಗ್, ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಎರರ್, Okay, that's also should be written. And then so if we found any errors, that is also should be written. So it is an external documentation. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ಬ ಅದೇ ತಪ್ಪು ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಸೊ ನೀವು ಈ ತಪ್ಪು ಮಾಡಬಾರದು ಅಂತ ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ರೆಫರ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಪರ್ಪಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟೇಶನ್. ಓಕೆನಾ? ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಸೊ ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ಬರಿಗೆ ನೀವು ರೆಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ಬರಿಗೆ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ತರ ನೀವು ಅದನ್ನ ಸೆಟ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, ಮ್ಯಾನ್ಯುಯಲ್ ನ ಸೆಟ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಓಕೆನಾ? ಸೊ ಈ ರೀತಿ ರನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಎರರ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಡೋಂಟ್ ಡೂ ದಿಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಯು ಗೋ ವಿತ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕೋಡಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಓಕೆ, ಇಸ್ ದಟ್ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್? ರೈಟ್. ಸೊ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟರ್ನಲ್ ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟೇಶನ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಸೊ ಯೂಸರ್ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ಯುಯಲ್ಸ್, ಅಡ್ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟ್ರೇಟರ್ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ಯುಯಲ್ ಅಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ಡೆವಲಪರ್ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ಯುಯಲ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ವಾಸ್ ಗಿವನ್ ಆಸ್ ಯೂಶುವಲಿ. ನಾನು ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟೆ. ಯೂಸರ್ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ಯುಯಲ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಡಿವೈಸ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ ನೀವು ಹೊಸದಾಗಿ, ಸೊ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅದೇನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಸೊ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ಯುಯಲ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ. So you follow that manual, so you can operate the device very easily. It's a documentation. Yes, for the future use also you can keep it as a documentation. Okay, is that clear everyone? Artha aita? Artha aita? Right. Next, last step, that is program maintenance will go, and then so after that selection and then iteration statements will come. Okay, so totally we will call it as a control statement. Okay, so we'll need to go with the syntax and then algorithm and then flowchart for it. Okay, so after that, so this chapter will be getting finished off. Right. Artha aita idu program documentation? Artha aita? Internal documentation matte external documentation artha aita? Is there any doubts? Clear alla idu? Right. Program maintenance, right? So after being a time, okay, so our program code is also being outdated. Okay, for you take any hardware or any software, so the modern day inventions and then so evolutions, okay, so and then so research made, so our earlier program outdated. Okay, we need to upgrade ourselves, both as hardware ourselves and hardware as well as software. Okay, so that itself is called maintenance. ಹೌದಾ? ಸೊ ಈ 10 ವರ್ಷದ ಹಿಂದಿನ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗಿರುವಂತ ಬದಲಾವಣೆಗಳು, ಸೊ ಅನ್ವೇಷಣೆಗಳು ಮತ್ತೆ ಸಂಶೋಧನೆಗಳು ಈಗ ಏನಿದೆ, ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬದಲಾಗಿದೆಯೋ ಇಲ್ವೋ? ಹಳೆ ತರನೇ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಈಗ ಬದಲಾಗಿದೆ. 10 ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ, 2010 ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ, ರೈಟ್? ಪೆನ್ ಡ್ರೈವ್ಸ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ 2010 ನಲ್ಲಿ. ಪೆನ್ ಡ್ರೈವ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿತ್ತಾ? ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ 10 ವರ್ಷದ ಹಿಂದೆ ಸಿಡಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ಸೊ ಫ್ಲಾಪಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ಡಿವಿಡಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಓಕೆನಾ? ರೈಟ್. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ ದಿಸ್? The inventions. Okay, so we have upgraded ourselves and we maintained the hardware, right? ನಮ್ದು ಆಗ ನಾವು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದು ವಿಂಡೋಸ್ XP, ಈಗ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ವಿಂಡೋಸ್ 7, ವಿಂಡೋಸ್ 8, ವಿಂಡೋಸ್ 10 ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ. ಹೌದಾ? Yes or no? So we have upgraded ourselves by upgrading both hardware as well as software technology. Okay, so the term itself is called as a maintenance. Okay na? So ಈಗ ಹಳೆ ವರ್ಷನ್ ಈಗ ಟಚ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಟೈಪ್ ಬದಲು ಟೈಪ್ ಸೆಲ್ ಫೋನ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ? ಸೊ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ಒನ್ ಯಾರು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಸ್ಮಾರ್ಟ್ ಫೋನ್ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ? Why? So we need to maintain the hardware as well as software. So ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ವಾಟ್ಸ್ಆಪ್, ಮೆಸೆಂಜರ್, ಫೇಸ್ಬುಕ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಪ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ we won't keep the device, so it has been outdated. So we need to upgrade ourselves, both as well as in hardware as well as software. So this is what we call the program maintenance. Program is also right. So ಈ 10 ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ಬರೆದಿರುವಂತ ಕೋಡ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ 20 ವರ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? ಸೊ ಈಗ 10 ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ಬರೆದಿರುವಂತ ಕೋಡ್ಸ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ 20 ವರ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? ಔಟ್ಡೇಟೆಡ್ ಅದು. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ 2030 ಗೆ ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರ? ಅದನ್ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ. ಇದೇ ಹಾರ್ಡ್ವೇರ್, ಇದೇ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತೀರಾ ನೀವಾಗ? ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತೀರಾ? ಈವನ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಬಿಡಿ, ಸೊ ನಮ್ಮ ಬೈಕ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಡೈಲಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ನೇ ನಾವು ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಬಿನ್ ಔಟ್ಡೇಟೆಡ್, ಹೌದಲ್ಲ? ಸೊ ಹೊಸದು ಯಾವ್ದು ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಅಪ್ಗ್ರೇಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಅದನ್ನ ಮೇಂಟೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಕಾಲ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಮೇಂಟೆನೆನ್ಸ್. ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ವಿಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಮೇಂಟೆನೆನ್ಸ್. Okay, so upgradation and then so enhancing. Okay, so adding, appending the new features. Okay, so that is what we call a program maintenance. Okay, you just write on this. Okay, program maintenance. Programs that are developed become outdated with time. With time. Sometimes error also. Upgrading and appending new features to the program is known as program maintenance. Right. So so we need to upgrade both hardware as well as software. Right. Okay, so programs that are developed become outdated with the time. So time, according to the time, so the program codes is also been outdated, right? So for that, so upgrading and then appending the new features to the program code, so that is known as program maintenance. Okay, so kala kalita, so ಅದು outdated ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನ upgrade ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, both in the form of hardware as well as software. This is what we call program maintenance. Is that clear, everyone? Artha aita?
Yes.
Right. Today we have discussed. Okay, so the importance of flowchart, and then so we have done the previous algorithm. That is, so write a program. So write an algorithm to find whether the number is prime or not, and then so program documentation and then program maintenance. Okay, right. The sixth step is program documentation, and then seventh step on the last step is program maintenance. Okay, so next, so in the next class, so we'll discuss the control statements of programming. So control statements includes two statements. So the one is selection statement. Selection statement, another is iteration statement. Iteration is also known as looping. Okay, so after finishing of this, so this is the end of this chapter. Okay. Is that clear? Problem solving technique has been get finished off. So after this, completing this concept. Okay, so control statements. So we have two type of control statement in the programming. So one is selection, another is iteration. Is that clear, everyone? Is that clear? Artha aita ivat madiddu? Right? Is there any doubt in this session? Yana doubt idya ee session alli? Is there any doubt in this session? ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ? Is that any doubts?
No
Doubt
doubts,
idea
sir.
ಈ session ಅಲ್ಲಿ? Okay, right? So I'll continue tomorrow. So Monday. So with the control statements. Okay, that is programming construct we call. Okay, so we'll discuss sequential, selection, and then iteration. Okay, so majorly we'll go with the selection and then iteration. Okay, so we'll discuss on Monday. Okay, bye. And then so up to the flowchart, importance of the flowchart. Just you go and then just you glance it. Okay, for the next tomorrow weekend test. Okay, so bye everyone. So complete from beginning, so from the problem solving technique to the flowchart. Okay, right? Is that clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so bye everyone.
Bye.